Hi everybody. We are finally to our cruise that we booked a year and a half in advance.
On opening day.
Opening day for gold.
Gold.
At that point, yeah, we were
Yep.
gold members. And we'd been counting down the days painstakingly.
Painstakingly, in the last 100 days before both of our cruises, we created a paper link chain for the kids so that every night they could take a link off, and that way they were involved in it as well.
So we went from Florida to Louisiana, but we did not stay in New Orleans like a lot of people on our sailing did. We stayed in Baton Rouge.
That was because the cost of a hotel in New Orleans, no matter where you were, whether it was French Quarter or just in the city, was over $175, $200, and we booked a hotel relatively nice. It was a Drury. We booked that for maybe $140, and that it was a suite
And includes breakfast and dinner.
and dinner, yeah,
So
and popcorn.
and
Yeah.
popcorn. And adult beverages.
Yep, very important for when you're traveling with kids.
So we stayed there and we got up. We ate breakfast right when breakfast started at the hotel, and then got on the road. And we got into New Orleans in less than an hour, even though there was rush hour traffic.
Yeah. We did hit a little bit of that when we were hitting right around the airport for a little bit, but once we got into downtown, it wasn't too bad at all.
So we got in and we went to have some real New Orleans beignets.
Yep, and a cafe au lait as well.
Yes. They were good.
Yeah, they were definitely really good. The process was kind of hectic, especially parking in downtown. We didn't really know what to expect, so we kind of just on the fly found a place to park in French Quarter, which was, I'm not gonna lie, it was expensive.
It was expensive, but it was a good spot.
Yep.
It was real close to the Café du Monde. It was right on the water. It was right across from all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
We were even able to stop at a CVS and get some cold medicine because Bella had a cough, which everything we needed was in one condensed area.
Yeah, it was really good. As far as the atmosphere of Café du Monde, it was, like I said,
Busy.
it was busy. It really was. We were actually really fortunate to have gotten a table in the
Inside. We were
Inside,
able to
yeah.
walk right in, get a spot. We ordered our beignets and our coffee, and Christian got an orange juice.
yeah.
And the kids enjoyed them. We enjoyed them. They're crispier than the ones at Disney World.
Yeah.
They're more of like they have a funnel cake kind of feel to them,
yeah.
more than like a fluffy donut like Disney World had.
Yeah, they were definitely really good, and because they're so fresh, the powdered sugar was definitely caked onto them, and they just had, it was something about the atmosphere and the ambiance that the Café du Monde had that just added to the experience and the flavor to the beignets.
It was a good experience. We got there around like 8:30, 9
8:30, 9 o'clock, yeah.
I think, maybe even a little earlier. But as we were getting ready to leave, there was a line outside and down the
around the corner,
street
yeah.
to get a table, and the to-go line was wrapped around as well.
Yeah,
So
it
we
was
got there at a
definitely-
really good time.
It is close quarters when you're in there because they have so many tables. So if you can get them to go, then I'm pretty sure they're going to be just as good. I mean, and they had the cafe au laits and orange juice to go as well.
Yep.
So after we finished up with Cafe du Monde, we went and we explored a couple of the squares that were right there. Again, Miriya said we stopped at the CVS to get some cold medicine for Isabella. And then the cool thing was where we were parked, we actually were able to...
You could see the wonder.
Yeah, we could go out to the river and look down and we saw the wonder. So we have a couple shots in the video here that we'll show you guys. And it was, though it was expensive to park, it definitely was easy. It was so easy to get to. It was easy to get out and get on our way to the port. So
while it was like I think $25 to park there. It was worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it for convenience sake.
Yep.
So.
After we finished up with our beignets and exploring a little bit, and we got the text that our time was about to run out, got back in the car, and we were like, okay, well, let's see if the parking garage for the port's open. And we got down there, and it was open.
It was really easy. We were just talking about this before we started shooting, but the 7 blocks that we had to go from the French Quarter to where we needed to turn to get into the cruise ship alley, essentially, is what it is.
It took like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it took a solid 10 minutes. The traffic was definitely high there, and it wasn't really related to the cruise industry either.
Friday morning in New Orleans.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like Mary said, once we got there, we found that the parking garage was open, and it was super easy to get in.
Yeah, the cops directing traffic, you know, which cruise line are you here for? Because it was us and Norwegian.
Yeah, Norwegian.
So they directed us to the parking garage. We went. There was no one in line for the parking garage in front of us. We paid for our week, and we found a parking spot.
The cool thing is that unlike Port Canaveral or Galveston, or really most cruise ports, instead of going to the terminal and dropping off your bags right there, once we got into the parking garage, we kind of got in a queue of there was only one other car in front of us, and the porters were right there to take your bags. And most of the time we like to carry our stuff on, but
we carried most of our stuff.
We did, but like the big suitcases, I think
the suitcase and the duffel bag, and I think one backpack we checked.
Yeah, and it was super easy. I, of course, tipped the porters. It was really simple, and then we went around the corner, and they had again the parking staff that were there to direct us in order to park the car. And then it was a really short walk down to the elevator.
Yep, we got on the elevator. You have to take the elevator. There's no stairs. Well, I'm sure there's stairs somewhere, but to get to where we needed to be, took the elevator down, which was kind of confusing because it opened up and we couldn't get out that way. And then it opened, the back of the elevator opened, and we were able to get out. And go outside to get in line to get in because the terminal was not open yet. We were probably, 50 to 50th family back, maybe.
It wasn't too bad.
We were not, earlier than our port arrival time. We had the first port arrival time available. So once they started letting people in, we went in, and it was different than a week before at Port Canaveral.
It was different. It was easy once we got through security. Security was honestly the biggest hassle. Getting our passports checked wasn't a hassle, fine. But it was going through security. Security.
It was more like an airport than getting on a cruise. We had to take What?
We had to take our jackets off. We were able to keep our
laptops and stuff. We had to take out of bags, like when you're getting on a plane.
Yeah, I kind of got annoyed. I wasn't too annoyed with the laptops, but I was annoyed that they
We had to take the kids' tablets
I
out
had to take
of the
the
bag.
kids' tablets out of the bag, and so instead of juggling one electronic, I was now juggling three, and we had to make sure that we didn't have water in our bottles,
Or let the kids run away.
Yeah, or let the kids run away. It was very similar to TSA. If you have pre-check, you were able to keep your shoes on, but you still had to go through the metal detector, have all your bags scanned. That's not the big deal. It was just more of the annoyance of having to take our laptop and the kids' tablets out, and with carrying all the stuff that we had. But once we got through there, it was easy.
It was easy, but it wasn't as organized as you'd find at Port Canaveral because it was the first sailing for Disney out of New Orleans. It was the first time that these cast members were working there. You know, they all had their Earning My Ears little ribbon.
Yeah.
We went in and we were directed all the way to the back of the room where they had the check-in. There was specific,
lines for
silver, platinum, gold. So we
yeah.
were able to go on the gold line. Checking in was...
It was standard,
It was easy, but again, these brand new cast members, someone was, given wrong colored lanyards. Someone was told they wouldn't get lanyards because you only get it for a specific sailing, which
there
was
was a
weird.
lot of stuff that we saw on the Facebook group that was just weird, and
they also didn't take our picture like they normally did.
But
which could have been because we sailed a week earlier, but
we think we're still in the database, and because it was within a timeline. Because I don't think they did it on our back-to-backs either. That was a while ago,
almost 3 years ago. I don't remember.
Yeah, but it wasn't too bad. And then the waiting game began. I think that's where our frustration came again.
So normally at Port Canaveral, when you check in, you will get the first day's navigator because they've done away mostly with paper navigators now. But they will still give you the first day's one that spells everything out. Instead of giving it to you with your lanyards when you checked in, they were passing them out to people who were sitting down in the terminal, which was fine, but it wasn't really efficient because they were just like, oh, you're sitting there, here, would you like one, even though we already had one.
Yeah, I think that's also, they might not have come off the printer essentially in time, or come off the ship in time.
It's possible.
Again, we're dealing with a brand new port for Disney, so everybody's learning how Disney expects things to be done as far as their cruise line is concerned. And then port operations at the Port of New Orleans. So I have no doubts that eventually, by the time we hopefully sail again from the Port of New Orleans for our Panama Canal, they'll have all that stuff figured out, and it should be easier, hopefully.
We'll see.
But
again, we were the first sailing from there, so they could have even had it worked out for the next sailing a week later.
Yep.
We don't know. We did have to wait a decent amount. In Port Canaveral, it was pretty easy. Again, we had the first port arrival time, just like we did in New Orleans. There was a character, two characters actually. Bella met Minnie and Goofy. And then we met a character handler, which we saw very many times throughout the rest of the cruise because Bella has gotten very into meeting characters. Which is fun because Christian's kind of outgrown it.
Yeah.
But they started boarding with concierge. Well, family of the day first, but then concierge like they normally do. And I don't know if it's because of where the lounge is located in Port Canaveral, or there's just people arrive more sporadically at Port Canaveral, but I feel like all of the concierge guests were there at the same time, and they all crossed the terminal at the same time to go get on at a different spot than us, but it's just because it was directly across from the lounge. After that, they boarded group 1, and after group 1, there was about a 10-minute pause where not a whole lot happened.
There was literally no one getting on the ship. The queue to take your picture with the standard DCL background was empty.
We don't know
why.
Again, if it was a first time from this port type of thing.
Yeah.
But then they did group 2. And then there was a 2-minute pause maybe after everyone had gotten on. And then they got to group 3, which was us.
Yeah, and getting on, people were doing the standard annoying thing of being right in the way of where people needed to go in order to get in the line to get on the ship.
Yeah.
Even though their boarding number was 4 or 5, so we had to kind of maneuver the kids and what we were carrying on around them. But again,
we started towards the gangway and onto the ship. Another thing about Port of New Orleans was a first time for us. Instead of entering in the lobby on deck 3, we entered on deck 4.
Yep.
So they did not actually scan our magic bands until we were out on the deck. Or not magic bands, sorry, our cards until we were out on the deck on deck 4. And then we walked in and around. And then they announced us right in front of D Lounge.
D Lounge, yeah. So that
was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely. We weren't expecting to experience something like that until we hopefully do a Marvel Day at Sea out of Miami. But it definitely very smooth process.
It was a new experience. It was a long walk up to get on the ship, though.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Yeah, I don't think
Bella had to be picked up and carried for a while.
Halfway through the gangway. I just think that they're more equipped for the bigger ships that don't sit as low in the water as the Wonder does. So, but not a big deal at all.
No, it's definitely a new experience for us. And then after we got on the ship, we went up to Cabanas for a delicious lunch.
Yep, it's kind of a tradition for us. Instead of going to the sit-down restaurant,
we also got some quick service because it was chilly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was chilly.
It was probably like 60 degrees at most, but I don't even think it was that warm. Mm-hmm. The kids were wearing sweatshirts, eating their food, and then there weren't a whole lot of people in the pool, which is why we didn't swim on the first day because it was chilly. And then we went up and hung out on deck 10 for a bit until our room was ready.
Yep.
Star Wars Force Awakens on tablet. There's a lot of tables for arts and crafts, and this is where they do dinner as well. There's an animator studio, which is a lot like the one in June, a craft studio, wheelhouse where you can play video games and simulators, and then a floor, dance floor. Not a magic play floor like on the bigger ships, but it's still a lot of fun. We are walking through the secret passage between the club and the lab. It's only for the kids when it's open. Oh, geez. Look out into the lobby atrium. We're going to come back into the club. This is Club Disney
Queen
Junior.
Anna also loves to play a bunch of different games, so she might be coming along to have a bit of a scavenger hunt with us within our adventures with Anna. And of course, Olaf loves to party. So Olaf might be swinging by to have a bit of a summer snow day party here with us in Wandering Ogre's trading post. Now, at the back of the room is one of our most popular rooms. It is Andy's room, of course, bringing to life the world of Toy Story. Now, you may have noticed that as you step into that room, the magic of it actually shrinks you down to the size of a toy, bringing all of Andy's toys up around you, even having Slinky so big that you can slide down his back. Pretty cool happening over there. Now, in Andy's room as well, you're also going to get the chance to learn how to become a space ranger, just like Buzz Lightyear. You're going to get the chance to become a Green Army soldier in our Toy Story bootcamp, and maybe even help Sheriff Jesse find a missing bag of gold in Jesse and the Mystery of the Missing Gold. So a lot of fun things happening over there in Andy.
Okay, sorry, it was super loud there in the club. I wasn't aware that that was taking place. They were talking about all the stuff that's going to go on in the club. Up, Christian, up. We are going up to our stateroom to put the magnets on, and then in a little less than an hour, we have the safety drill, and then it will be all the way up to the pool deck for the Sail a Wave party. We finished off the evening with dinner at my favorite of all of the Disney Cruise Line restaurants.
For now.
For now, because we haven't tried Rapunzel's.
True.
Tiana's place. Mm-hmm. So, a little bit of a New Orleans feel, but a lot of people that are from New Orleans that were on our sailing said wasn't authentic. Well...
It's about as authentic as you can get. I mean...
It might not be what they have in New Orleans, but again, it's, oh, there wasn't enough spice, there wasn't enough this. You have to realize that they're catering to
the masses.
A palate that might not like as spicy food as you do, or, you know, oh, it's not as salty, or it's too salty. It's tamed down for that reason.
But the flavors are definitely on point, and it's definitely what you would expect from Disney Cruise Line.
So, we started off the meal with the Louisiana hot crab dip. Not hot like spicy, hot like you will burn your mouth if you eat it when it first comes to the table.
It really is lava.
But it's creamy and got good crab flavor, and it's served with crusty bread and yum.
definitely one of my favorite appetizers to get. I ended up getting the duck and pistachio terrine, which is duck confit, and it's got crushed as well as whole pistachios in it. Definitely good. It's definitely gamey.
It's like duck loaf.
Yeah, it's a duck loaf. It comes in a slice, and we'll put a picture of that when we do the editing. But it's definitely really good. If you like duck, it's served cold, and it's definitely really good. Both appetizers really good. A lot of people from Enchanted Garden love the ahi tuna tower. I would probably get at least 5 to 6 of the hot Louisiana crab dip.
So good.
It's really good.
We moved on to entrees. Christian, once again, had pizza.
It's almost a staple for him.
Bella had the kids' turkey meatloaf, rounds of meatloaf served with a slightly sweet carrot ketchup, broccoli, and fresh fruit.
Yeah,
She enjoyed it.
She definitely enjoyed it. Not as much as we'll get to it, but she definitely enjoyed dinner as dessert as well. I had the trio of veal, which it's veal 3 ways. It's got a grilled tenderloin, pulled shank, and then they also have some of the pull in a pasta.
Kind of like a ravioli.
Yeah, it's a ravioli, and it's served with a sun-dried tomato and sage reduction. It's more of a loose sauce, but it's still really good. The tenderloin was extremely tender. It was absolutely delicious. One thing to note with that, and our server kind of mentioned it as well, is it is a smaller dish. It's not an appetizer. It's kind of that in between appetizer and entree. So I would suggest if you are feeling hungry, definitely either get 2 of these or get a secondary entree as well, because it's not very big, but it is definitely delicious.
But it does leave room for dessert.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I ordered the oven roast turkey breast. I really enjoy this dish. It feels like Thanksgiving. Turkey and buttery green beans with mashed sweet potatoes. Now, I'm not a sweet potato fan, but I do eat these, mostly mixed with the cranberry relish that is brought to your table as well. It's also got rosemary stuffing and some gravy. Now, the cranberry relish is not on the plate at first. They will bring it to your table and ask if you would like some, and I had like 3 spoonfuls worth because I like cranberries.
Yeah.
It's a great dish. It's a lot of turkey. It's like 3 slices of turkey. If you like Thanksgiving and you like Thanksgiving food, you'll enjoy this dish.
Oh, definitely. Moving on to the dessert portion, and this is where Isabella, she thrived. So standard for kids, they offer them a Mickey bar, or if your kid's not feeling up for a Mickey bar, you can either get them something off of the adult menu, or they'll even bring you out scoops of ice cream.
They have like a cheesecake or something on the kids' dessert menu every night too.
Or fresh fruit, definitely. But
Bella went with the Mickey bar.
Yeah.
And she enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
A lot.
I'm sure her clothes and
The
it was
tablecloth.
all over her face. Yeah, tablecloth, everything. It was just all over the place.
She liked that Mickey bar.
I think Christian had a Mickey bar as well.
He might have. At first, Bella didn't really know what it was, but once she bit through the chocolate and realized there was ice cream in there, she was all for it. Yeah. All for it.
Okay. What's better than chocolate and ice cream in the shape of Mickey's head?
It's exactly. Mickey food tastes better.
Mm-hmm.
We also ordered the banoffee cream pie, which is a layer of caramel toffee topped with bananas and whipped cream. And it's amazing.
It is. It's got just enough banana flavor that it doesn't overpower the caramel. Everything's just balanced really nicely. It's nice and creamy and delicious. And we also got the Prince Naveen's flourless chocolate cake, which we love the flourless chocolate cakes, and this one definitely didn't disappoint. It was definitely chocolatey and
it's fluffy.
Yeah, it was fluffy.
Kind of got a mousse texture to it.
Yeah,
but it's good.
Oh my goodness, is it good? If you love chocolate, you will love the flourless cake.
Yeah. So it was a good meal. It was a good way to start the trip. Christian hung out in the club a little bit.
Yep. I think either he ate a Mickey bar or he pulled his normal antics of, hey, look, I finished dinner. Can someone take me to the club?
So we hung out in the room for a little bit before bed. Oh, we went out on deck 4 and we walked around as we were
sailing up the Mississippi.
Yeah, we were
Out
still on
into
the
the
river. We could not go around the front of the ship because I think we were too close to land still. You could still see land. Howard got on his phone and was able to use data because we were still so close.
Yeah.
So we, took a little family walk, went back to the room, and went to sleep so that we could have a fun-filled sea day the next day.
Yeah.
So next week we will see you for sea day number 1.
1 of 3.
1 of 3.
Sea
I
days
love
are
sea
definitely,
days.
Yep. We love going to the different ports, but sea days are definitely
Relaxing.
relaxing. And even though everybody's on the ship, it's still relaxing. You still get to go and hang out up by the pool or go hang out on deck 4 outside. It's just really relaxing. So look forward to doing that video next week, and hope you guys enjoyed this one.
See you then.